Hello, baby. Okay, so I'm live on YouTube here, and I am live on Zoom with friends here. And I'm trying, as usual, I'm trying to work two sets of technologies so that everybody gets a good experience. So I can still see people logging on Zoom, so I'll just take 2 minutes and I will make sure that I'm on Do Not Disturb. So welcome everybody. Today is called The Subtlety of Experience, and I'll explain a bit more about what I mean with that in a second. So we just usually make a start on these evenings with a sort of a body check-in, a mental check-in, an emotional check-in. So we'll just start in that way. So sit with your feet on the floor. Keep your sit bones even and balanced on your bum, and then lift up your spine, not too much, but just enough. Shut your eyes, let your shoulders drop, and come into yourself. So just start by bringing your attention into the body and into the bottom of the belly. So right in the pit of the belly, you can feel the breath making its way down there. You can feel that it just gently, gently opens up the belly. You don't need to do anything, you just need to allow it to happen. And you might find yourself spontaneously breathing more deeply. In these first few moments, all we're doing is connecting with our breath and connecting with our body. And just notice if your breathing wants to change its shape or change its duration or adjust. So after you've sat here for a minute or two, sometimes the breath gives you a signal that it needs to move. Follow the breath. Allow the breath to dictate how you breathe. You don't need to have any preconceived ideas about how to breathe. The breath knows. Okay, and when you're ready, just take one or two slightly deeper breaths and bring some movement to your body. Allow yourself to begin some movement. Just ease out the wrinkles and the tight bits And when you're ready, come back to eyes open. Yeah. So, hi everybody on YouTube and hi everybody on Zoom. Lovely to see you. We're going to talk today about subtle and gross experience. So, gross experiences, big things that kind of pang, and subtle things which are so delicate and so small that when we're busy, when we're stressed, we just don't see them. And one of the very fundamental shifts that we make in mindfulness is we notice the gross, we notice the big, we are not unaware of big things in our life, but we make sure that we have enough time and enough attention and enough energy to put into the small things, the beauty of small things. And that subtlety, that attention to tiny little things, actually is very powerfully associated with a sense of calm and a sense of joy and a sense of engagement in our life. So it doesn't matter what you are paying attention to. It all has the capacity to be quite transformative. So I don't know if you have ever had the simple pleasure of drinking plain water out of the tap. Doesn't need to be shop bought or bottled water or sparkly or anything. But the sheer pleasure of drinking one little sip of water. And it's not even that it has a particular taste, although, of course, in some areas, water does have a slight flavor. It's the fact that the water comes with refreshment, it comes with the rush of temperature change on your tongue. It has the capacity to sort of bring your taste buds, to burst them into life. And it's not even it's not gross, you know. If you squirted lemon juice into your mouth, you'd expect all that. You'd expect to wake up, you'd expect the zest to enliven your mouth. You'd expect, you know, sort of to have a close meeting. You know, you'd expect it to jolt you because it's lemon. But water, this simple thing, can also have that effect when we pay attention, when we use the subtlety of attention. We find all sorts of things that are miraculous. And again, you'll have had this experience in your life because you'll have been walking along and suddenly there's a sunset and it kabam, you know, that sunset. It's orange and it's flaming and it's just mesmerizing, you know, beautiful. And yet there have been 365 sunsets every year, and every year of your life that has occurred. But you weren't always paying attention. You weren't always aware of the beauty of the sunset. So I don't really want to say much more. I want to explore and experiment with this idea in a practice. So the practice will be about 20 minutes long, so not too long. And it's a seated practice. So if you possibly can stay seated today, even though I know some of you like to lie down, but this one is really, I tried to make it a lying down practice and then I couldn't. Maybe we'll figure out the lying down version another day. But if you just start with your feet on the floor and start in a way that your shoulders are above your hips and your ears are aligned to your shoulders, so you're symmetrical. And we're going to do some very subtle experiments. And if any of these experiments don't work for you or don't feel right to you, you can adapt or change them. Just spend the first few moments getting into your body, getting into your breath. And this is where subtle and gross experience really shows up. So the first few breaths, it's quite easy to pay attention because there's this sense of, oh, there's a breath. Oh, there's another breath. But as we focus again and again and again on the breath, we lose that subtlety. We lose that interest. And so really paying attention to small things in the breath, small things in the breathing. That one was deeper. That breath was more jagged. Oh, the next breath is half formed. So it's the fine detail of our experience that we're interested in. So for the next few moments, I want you to imagine that there's somebody looking in the window at you meditating. So or somebody's in the room with you looking. And you're going to experiment, if it feels okay for you, with moving but not moving. Here's what that looks and feels like. If you very, very slowly and carefully push your weight across to the left side of your body, you can move about a millimeter and nobody can see you moving, but all your weight is over to the left. So you know that you're off to the left. But your friend who's looking at you thinks you're sitting upright. Just feel what it's like to be out of balance without having moved. And then come back to the center and notice that movement, which cannot be seen but can only be felt. The center is a very real place. It's a very obvious, clear place. And now, when you're ready, move all your weight across to the right without moving, but clearly just shifting. So, no movement, it's very, very subtle. But you can place your weight into the right hand side of your body. And you can explore what that feels like to be off balance, but you haven't moved. And when you're ready, go back to the center again without moving, but just rearranging the atoms inside of you. So the tiniest, tiniest little movements you can possibly imagine. Rearranging molecules. And sense into the center. And now see if you can move again that 1 centimeter, but no more, forward. So your weight goes forward. And see if you can do these movements or non-movements without adding stress or strain to the rest of the body. So just moving forward on your axis of the spine in a way that anybody watching you wouldn't see. So tiny, so subtle. And now when you're ready, just move non-movement back to the center and feel that. Feel the subtlety of movement, which is just so tiny and so precise. And now go backwards, less than a millimeter. Going backwards. Feel yourself off balance. Know that you have moved such a small amount that nobody would even notice. But you can notice. You can feel it. And release and go back to the center. So just abide in the center of your body, allowing the breath to come and go. Maybe taking 3 really mindful breaths, so paying attention to every part of the breath cycle, paying attention to all the components of the breath. So subtlety and close observation of the breath. If you're happy staying here, please do. But if you'd like to try one more further experiment, then this time what we're going to do is we're going to circle around our inner core, again without moving, but we're going to take our inner core around anti-clockwise, and we're going to notice what it's like to sit here slightly off balance because we've rotated our inner core around anti-clockwise. You can see it and feel it at a molecular level, but nobody else can. When you're ready, release that. Make sure you unwind completely back to neutral. And this time, circle your core the other way. So this way it's clockwise. And unwind and go back to neutral all the way. And sit here aware that you are back to central, back to neutral. And allow the breath to come and go. Maybe taking one or two mindful breaths and then keeping tuned to the subtlety of breathing. At any point that you lose the breath or lose your focus, you can just retune in to the subtlety of the breath and breathing. So 3 more mindful breaths, as deep or as shallow as you would like to make them. And in the final moments of this practice, maybe just inviting a reflection question in. What did I notice? What changed? What became apparent? And in any way that you feel it makes you comfortable or is right for you, just begin to add some movement and begin to transition back from eyes closed to eyes open. And I'm just going to say goodbye to those on YouTube. Thank you very much for being with me. And I'm going to turn to people on Zoom and have a conversation there.